Hey, uh, I want to talk about a video I saw today, um, just a little bit ago. It was a video about a guy who had bought a Guitalele, and he also bought a guitar mini, if that's what they're some of them are being called. Um, he was unsatisfied with his product. Um, and he said some things on his video. His name is, I think his name was Alex Hand, and he's new to YouTube. And he's a very, very great classical guitar player. Now, I've been into the ukulele probably for 3 years now, and maybe the Guitalele for about two. I'm new to this, but I love these instruments. I too, like him, am a guitar player. I'm not into classical music though. I'm more into the electric guitar. And when I realized, as I said in another video, when I realized that the ukulele is very similar to the electric guitar in feel, that's how I got into it. Okay, and it just took off from there. Um, this here is the Yamaha Guitalele GL1, and I did a video um, giving you my testimony on how I got into all this and what I love about all these instruments. I compared them all with one another, so you can check that out if you want. Um, I love this instrument because, as I said in another video, I don't like the feel of acoustic guitars. I don't like the feel. I don't like you know, I have a guitar in the closet. I should have got it out. I got a guitar in the closet where I have to, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's what got me into the ukulele in the first place. I don't like that. But this guy was saying some things. He's new to YouTube and he's new to this instrument. I'm new to this instrument too. Not as new as he is, obviously. The smallness, if I may put it like that, the small size of these instruments is part of their tradition. The small size of these instruments is part of their unique sound. How anyone can complain, to me, is kind of absurd. If you're already a great guitar player, maybe you don't need to get into the ukulele. Maybe you don't need to get into an instrument like this. And if you're looking for a travel guitar, as he was talking about it, why do you need your travel guitar to sound just as great as your regular acoustic that you play at home? I mean, sometimes when people complain, it's like give them a bottle, give them a bottle, make sure the nipple's clean. Oh my goodness! Make sure there's no air. Give them a clean bottle with some clean juice and a nipple, man. Somebody please breastfeed this boy. Okay. Man, I hate when people I mean, great video. And the guy is an excellent guitar player. But he was saying some things. Here's some of the stuff I gotta watch my time. I hate when I always have to take the whole 30 minutes. And I'm not planning on, trust me. But this is some of the stuff that he said. It's small. No strap. Or no place to put a strap. Help us out, Hawaiians, okay? It's a toy. Help us out, Hawaiians. The frets are small and the scale of the guitar, and there's not enough room to play chords. There's not enough room to play chords. Let me go down here to E, which is way up here. You can play chords all up and down the neck if your fingers will allow you to do it. It's not so much the frets, but it's your fingers as well. I mean, if you look at these Hawaiians, and the way they're all over the ukulele and this instrument too. If you look at Hawaiians play this instrument, and you know what? Hawaiians play this instrument different than they play the 4-string ukulele. When they played the 4-string ukulele, man, they really jam, and I mean they're all over the place because you only got 4 strings, and you got all that room in between those 4 strings, so you can really just go off. But when they play this very different, and they play it with such precision and they play with such carefulness because they know that they're going in between tighter spaces, and they understand that the frets, you got more strings on less fret room, more strings on less fret room. So but that doesn't keep them from playing this instrument, and it doesn't keep them from playing professional music, recording professional music with this instrument. They are making a living playing this instrument. Even John Mayer takes one of these on the road with him when he does concerts. I just found out. But getting into small instruments, and he criticized, or should I say, he said something about the mandolin too. Well, there you have it. And that was another reason why I got into this instrument. Right around the time that I got this instrument, I was visiting a friend of mine's music store, and he was trying to sell these mandolins, and I guess they had been sitting there for a while. So now he kind of moved them out front to where you could see them. He moved them out front with all his guitars, and he was trying to sell them there. He was trying to put them on display there so that people would see them when they come into a store. So I saw them, and I says, you know what? I've been thinking about the mandolin. So he pulled me up a chair, and I began to play with the mandolin. But right before I got on the mandolin and started jamming around, I was already up at Guitar Center, you know, way out of the area there, at my favorite store, my big spot, where I buy probably half the stuff that I musical stuff that I own, including this. I bought there at Guitar Center. Um, I was in there and I was. This is where I got this from, and I had was monkeying around on this, and I said, you know what, I got to get me one of these. You know, actually, wait, I might have bought this already before I tried out the mandolin. So when I just left there with this about a day or so ago, and I was at his music store to get some other things, and I saw the mandolins sitting there, and I was like, what's so special about these mandolins? So, getting to the point, I picked up his mandolin and I asked him to show me some things because I didn't really know much about the mandolin, especially at that time. I said, show me some things. How does this work? I says, oh, okay. He's showing me which is bass, which is solo, and all like that, just like the guitar. And just like the ukulele, it only has four strings, but four strings that are double. So I was playing, and one of the things about the mandolin, if you compare the mandolin with a guitar, a ukulele, or a guitalele like this, or a kinku, a guitalele, um, if you compare it with any small instrument, even like these new things they got out. Well, not new, but if you compare them to even a bouzouki, out of all these stringed instruments out there, other than maybe like the banjo, um, maybe let's say the banjo, um, trying to think what other instruments are small other than the banjo. The banjo lele is a pretty hot one. But anyway, if you compare the mandolin to any strong instrument, you understand that the mandolin, maybe it's because of its super tiny strings, I'm not sure, but the mandolin has the most unclear sound acoustically out of all the stringed instruments there are. So when I was in the store and I was like jamming around, just putting strings together like this, I said, man, that sounds a little bit like my guitalele that I have at the house. So I immediately thought about how, like, you got more strings, but the same fret space that you have on the mandolin on this instrument. So I immediately put it down. I put that mandolin down. I said, you know what? I got a guitalele at home. I don't need a mandolin because I'm in there and I'm monkeying around with the guitars and I'm monkeying around with other things he has and the ukuleles, and I realized that I like the more I like the more deeper, cleaner tone of ukuleles and guitars than I do mandolins. Now the mandola has got something to it, and there's another one that just came out that's a little bit bigger than the mandola, I think. And oh my goodness, it has such a beautiful sound. I forget what it's called. It's part of the mandolin family. I love the sound of the mandola and the new one that come out that I think is a slight bigger than the mandola. Um, I wouldn't mind goofing off, just to have one around the house. I wouldn't mind owning a mandola, um, maybe even a mandolin, just to have it, for when people come out and hang out with me and they want to jam. Um, but it's small. Is one of his arguments, and the frets are too small. No strap. Well, the tradition of the ukulele, okay, um, and the Guitalele family, these small instruments. Now, the mandolin is always played with a strap, even though when I was in the store checking one out, I did not use a strap. But you can play, traditionally, mandolins have a little strap when you play them, especially standing up. Um, but the tradition of the ukulele is no strap. That's the tradition of it. So the guitalele doesn't have a strap either. The reason why there's no strap because the guitalele or the kinku or the guitalele, however you pronounce that, these instruments that are tuned A, D, G, C, E, A, these instruments that are this size, that are part of the ukulele family, are strapless because they are part of the ukulele family. So you learn how to cuff with your forearm like this. And when you play, you no strap. You don't need one because you know how to hold it. Okay? This guy didn't know how to hold it. He's like, oh, there's no strap. And there's no pins for straps. That's because traditionally you're not supposed to play with a strap. And yet to this day, I have no straps. I don't have a strap for this one. You don't see a pin in here for a strap. Okay, neither on any of my ukuleles. Now, maybe when I get a ukulele and a guitalele that have a pickup in it, maybe it'll be much heavier. I don't know. And then maybe I'll start wearing a strap because of the weight of the instrument. But traditionally, again, you don't need a strap. Another thing he said that kind of offended me. Now that I'm into the ukulele family instruments, it's a toy. Let me let you guitar freaks understand something. I'm a guitar freak, electric guitar freak. I almost hate acoustics. Um, the only reason why um, I took my last acoustic guitar, I had like 3 good acoustic guitars in my house. Since I've gotten into the ukulele, I've given those 3 acoustic guitars to my daughters, my stepdaughter and my youngest daughter. And both of them were brand new guitars, basically. They were fairly new. Um, and then this guy, I had one that I really, really, really was proud of. Um, and I think I did a trade in with someone, and I got it, and I was so excited about it. Not because I'm really into the acoustic guitar, because I always wanted one of those acoustic guitars, and that acoustic guitar, um, after playing it a while, I don't know if I got bored with it or what, but I ended up giving it away for that crazy thing I got in the closet that to me is like a tuba. I don't touch it, okay? And it needs new strings and all like that. I'm thinking about giving that bad boy away too. But anyway, it's not a toy. This is a professional instrument, just like the ukulele, just like the guitar. Um, and they have plastic ukuleles for children and adults. Now, when it comes to the guitar, they have different sizes of guitars for youngsters and adults. But when it comes to the ukulele family, they have plastic ukuleles for kids, and they have the wooden ones for adults. But they have plastic ukuleles for adults too. But I don't know if they have one of these here in uh, plastic yet. And the other thing, he was like doing a review on two different uh, Guitaleles there. Both of them were Cordoba. Now I have a Cordoba um, concert ukulele over there. I haven't even showed it on any of my videos yet. I don't really play it. I feel that I think it's kind of small in places where it shouldn't be, as compared to uh, other concert style ukuleles. I think, I don't know, there's something unprofessional about it to me. I do, however, love the sound, so I do like goof off with it at home. But I've never taken it out yet. I'm thinking about giving it away to some kid or something as a prize for, I don't know, winning a game in church or something like that. When the young people get together or something. I'm thinking about giving it away, shining it up real good and putting it back in its case, tuning it up for them and everything, and giving it away as a prize. I'm thinking about that. But it's not a toy. This is not a toy. You just need to know the tradition of it and how to play it. As far as the scale goes, now I know from playing guitar, the Fred Sokolow stuff, Another thing I like about this, and I said this in another video that I did on it, was that you can bend strings. I think you can bend strings on classical guitars too. Now, I got that guitar in the closet and I tune it up just perfect, and when I bend strings on it, it sounds off. And most steel string acoustics, depending on who, and I don't know if that is something to do with wound or unwound, I don't know. But you don't get that clean electric tone that you do, like when you play an electric guitar. You get a proper bent string. You go up a fifth or you go up a half or whatever. That's what you hear. When you do that on a regular acoustic, you're not going up in tones. You're just, giving the sound, some improvisation, but you're not really going up in tones. So that's another thing I like about ukuleles and guitaleles is that you can bend strings on these instruments. Of course, you're going to have to keep tuning them, uh, in between songs if you do that, but you can bend strings. And he says it's a travel guitar. Yes, it is a travel guitar. I used to take it to work with me. This and my ukulele. Not too long ago when I worked at the power plant, I didn't really have to do anything but spend the night there and wait for the phone to ring. I used to take this to work with me as well as my tenor. I would take him to work with me. I took my concert to work a couple times too. I played my tenor ukulele and this gizmo right here. I've played these both in church. And the people loved it. And one thing about what was I going to say? One thing about the ukulele is that, and the guitalele, these small instruments like this, you don't have to like them if you don't want to. I agree that the guitar is the workstation of all. I said this in my first video. The guitar is the workstation of all stringed instruments, especially the electric guitar. It is the workstation of all stringed instruments. So if you play guitar, you don't need to worry about this instrument or the ukulele, unless you are looking to, like this guy said, have something to take on the road with him. To have a travel guitar to fit, to fit in. I gotta look at my time here. I'm running out of time. To fit in with, other instruments in his van or car or whatever. I have matter of fact, my Cordoba concert over there. I used to put that in my trunk and I'd have it in there for days and weeks before I took it out. I had it covered up real nice, but it was hot outside. It was blazing hot. I can't believe that it's not warped or something. And I used to take the tenor too, but I would always take the tenor, out of the car by the end of the day. And I had this in there a couple times. But, you know, these instruments are wonderful. And as a guitar player, I can play guitar and then I can play this and I can play a ukulele and I can see the difference between this and a ukulele. I can see the difference between the guitar and this. I love to play this because not only because of the classical stuff, I suck at classical, but not only because of the classical stuff, but the sustain that you can get, I'm still sustaining if you can hear it. But the sustain that you can get on an instrument, and there are some YouTubers that will agree with me because they've made videos on this instrument too. And they talk about the sustain that you get out of these, even though they're acoustic. Um, there is an advantage to them being small all the way around compared to the acoustic guitar. To me, this has more of a rockish vein of a sound than the acoustic guitars. If you're going to be like, getting into like really rhythm, I think these are better. These have the regular acoustic guitar beat when it comes to rhythm, especially if you're going to be playing alongside the electric guitar or something like that. But it's not just a travel guitar, and it's not just for kids. Kids can play them, and you can take them on the road with you. In closing, I think I've covered everything. In closing, we understand that there is no app, or I'm sorry, I'm getting into the app. There is no instruction books. I wish I had one. I'm the kind of person I like to look at instruction books. I could learn things on my own, private lessons from someone that already knows how to play, that's fine. But I wish there was an instruction book on this instrument. I have not met one yet. However, great news, and I have it. The DG Guitalele Requinto is on the app on your phone. You can get the app. through Google Play, through Google Apps, on your phone. You can get the app for this. There's an app for this. It's called the DG Guitalele. You can get the app for this. I have it on my phone, and what it does is it shows you, if you type in the letter E for E major, it'll show you the notes in several positions on the neck for the key of E. And then you can decide which of those notes you want to use for your chord inversion. And so I've been using that, and it does help. Like when I look at a songbook and I want to play that music on my guitalele, I go to my app on my phone and I look up the notes where they are, and then I make chords out of those notes. It's real easy. I mean, they're all there together. And then I have the chord that I need, the chords with an S, to do the song. So I hope this helps. Before you judge small instruments, as this guy was doing, he put down the mandolin basically. He put down the guitalele and the ukulele. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's a professional acoustic guitar player who doesn't really need to play instruments of that nature. I do. I love them. I think I've become more musical since I've gotten into these smaller instruments. And I'm so glad, that the ukulele, because they could have did it that way. They could have made that the policy. They could have said, "Oh, the ukulele is just for kids," or the guitalele or anything that size is just for kids. But they didn't. That's not the tradition of this instrument. Again, they have the same sizes in this tradition for kids and adults. They have ukuleles and guitaleles that you can beat up and drop them, and for kids. And then they have all kinds of ukuleles in different prices for adults. So I hope this helps. And let me know what you think. Until next time, God bless you. Thank you for watching.